The REDWING Huntsman. What is it and what makes it so great? Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks, and in today's video I'm very excited because I'm going to be talking about these REDWING Huntsman boots in black Klondike leather. Now, I am not the biggest REDWING aficionado, nor fan for that matter, but my buddy Mario reached out and asked me if I'd be willing to review and sell these boots for him, and I agreed. When he reached out to me, I had not heard much about the REDWING Huntsman, though he had spoken to me several times about these boots. Apparently they're very rare, they're very hard to get, and they're very special. Something somebody said to me once early in my YouTube days is, if you want to be popular, talk about REDWING. When I joined the boot tube scene, there was already so much REDWING content out there. Guys with REDWING collections. There wasn't much Alden coverage, so that was sort of my initial focus at the time. Alden, Viberg, some of the more obscure brands that were expensive, and I kind of wanted to give coverage to those brands and explain and sort of hold people's hands and walk them through these large, scary purchases and my experiences and all that, and how, you know, to sort of serve as an ambassador between the consumer and the company. With that in mind, I do owe it to myself and my audience to edify myself on this legendary brand in the boot world. REDWING is celebrated all across the world. I follow accounts in all over the United States, Asia, Japan, China. Asian countries in particular really seem to almost have like a cult-like following around REDWING. It's pretty cool. They're obsessed with denim and our heritage brands. This REDWING Huntsman is very much a highly sought after piece. So let me read a little bit about the Huntsman. So this is style 2015, and this card comes with the boots. So it looks like the Huntsman started back in 1936. It was then called the 668. Then in 1941, it evolved into the 951, and then in 1952, it was the 877. So the Huntsman 2015. Introduced in 1936, REDWING shoes popular number 668 was marketed as the bird shooter's boot. The 668 debuted as one of the company's first hunting boots and quickly became a boot of choice for long days outdoors. Over time, the 668 eventually evolved into REDWING's iconic style number 877. Today, the REDWING heritage is reinventing the 668 for the company's 110-year anniversary with the introduction of the number 2015 Huntsman boot. Inspired by the company's early hunt boot designs, the Huntsman is an 8-inch lace-up boot built using black Klondike leather, a grow cord sole material based on the original 668's sole. This rubber sole was an innovation when the 668 was introduced at a time in which leather soles were commonplace. The grow cord sole allowed sportsmen to move silently in the field, featuring nickel-plated brass eyelets, leather laces, and a grow cord sole. The Huntsman pays tribute to its sportsman heritage. And if you go looking for the Red Wing 2015 Huntsman on eBay, I see it for sale for $1,600. I also see it for $700, $900 in some places. Very interesting. So this is according to Red Wing Shoes. Wear a piece of history. Nothing new was created for this limited upcycled collection. Not the boots, not the ads, nothing. What better story to tell than the original? A story of quality, sustainability, and adventure. A story of setting the bar high the first time around and sticking to it for generations to come. This upcycled collection is a celebration of our heritage and the same old boots that get better with every step, just the way we intended. This limited upcycled collection sold out in less than 2 weeks. Explore the collection of restored inline styles as well as pairs pulled from our history. The 2015 Huntsman was originally a limited release. This boot is rare but ready for what's next. And so yeah, the original price on these is on the box. So these are size 10.5 and they sold for $495 from the Footwear Boutique. Speaking to the condition on these are basically unworn. And yes, these are going to be in a size 10.5D. As an aside, my buddy Isaac at Pigeon Tree Crafting, he always loves this black Klondike leather. Apparently it is a T-core. So as you beat it up and scuff it up and scratch it up, it will reveal the T-core undertones. And yes, I'm looking at it. This is a T-core leather, so it is black initially, but as I look at the raw edge here on the front of the shaft, I see a nice warm brown undertone. So basically on the reverse side, you can see it on the inside of the boot. You can see what it'll morph into as you beat it up. Most striking to me about this, so I'm gonna be fully upfront and honest. This build to me isn't all that special aside from the heritage. The striking thing that does sort of say, okay, this is worth it, is the grow cord sole at the bottom. That's super cool. That appears to be a Red Wing proprietary corded outsole. And the heel cap is also grow cord, and it's got 11 nails in the heel. That's really cool. And the workmanship is very good. Very good. I think it could be a reflection of the leather, how smooth and silky it is, and it's probably very easy to cut, very easy to work with. It's got a temper similar to Chrome XL. The weight on this feels like it's about 4.5 ounces. So this is going to be in a standard sort of upland mock toe. This appears to be a 10-inch shaft. 10 inches from the bottom of the heel to the top of the shaft. So 10 inches. So it is a taller boot, but the shaft isn't so wide like a common engineer boot would be. That would be hard to get up through your pant leg. So even if you wear slim pants, slim denim, you'd be able to get those up there, no problem. We've got Red Wing embossed on the right boot only on the inner ankle. That's pretty cool. The tongue looks like mostly gusseted. That's an interesting gusset. The gusset doesn't come all the way to the top. It's probably 3/4 of the way up, and it sort of curves as opposed to being attached all the way up, which is neat. That'll help you get your foot in and out of there. So this appears to be a hand-stitched mock toe, and it doesn't appear to me to be a true mock toe in that the apron and the vamp, I believe, are all one piece. I believe that this protrusion here on the mock is just a reflection of the hand-stitched mock. The toe is structured, nice structured toe in there. We've got the Puritan stitch, very nice, along the quarter, triple stitched. We've got black stitches and a white stitch running down the center, and that Puritan stitch has like a special wax in there, which is cool. Yeah, they stitched in a leather heel counter in there, very nice. And then the back heel stays really cool as well. Real elegant hourglass design, and it's triple stitched on both sides all the way up. That is really neat. And yeah, it looks like full grain leather on the midsole. Looks like 2 layers of leather on the midsole. Yeah, all nickel eyes all the way up. And then most noteworthy, or a very striking contrast, the roll top collar is brown, and it's a different leather than the Klondike. But yeah, super cool build. And I was debating on whether or not to turn this into a comparison review, but heck, I'm gonna do that right now. this is a pair of boots I have not reviewed yet. A little bit of history on these boots here. So these are my Truman Boots in law tanning black shrunken bison. This is the Upland model, and we've got nickel eyelets with speed hooks all the way up. And this is a build that gets me very excited. I haven't worn these, and a little bit of a backstory on these. I actually talked to Rose Anvil. He and I both ordered the same pair. We were DMing back and forth probably a year and a half ago on Instagram, and he's like, dude, I think I'm gonna get those. And I said, I already put in my order, so. So shout out to Weston at Rose Anvil. You, sir, have fantastic taste in boots. These are so pretty. I kind of feel bad wearing them, so I just didn't wear them yet. And I threw in some burgundy rawhide laces from Jesse at Guarded Goods. Shout out to Jesse. And speaking of shout outs, I'm gonna shout out Dale's Leatherworks real quick. I have a bunch of new kilties in. These are all Walpier leathers. So first and foremost, we've got chestnut Walpier, absolutely beautiful, glossy, rich Italian veg tan. Then we've got walnut Walpier. So these two are in a leather. It's called Dash. I had never heard of it, but as soon as I saw it, it was on sale, so I decided to try it out. I got a bunch of Dash in, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. It reminds me of the Sapici bag that I made for Wyatt from Sapici Tanneries, which is an Italian tannery, which I believe buys Turkish cowhide and then tans it and makes just a phenomenal product. The Italians really know what they're doing when it comes to tanning. And then most excitedly, these kilties are in white waxed Walpier, and the core leather is like a sage green color. It's absolutely gnarly. So if you're lucky enough to get in on the Grantstone run of Garrison boots in white waxed Walpier Burrow recently, Ghost, I believe they called it, then these would go phenomenal with those. I was late to the game. I showed up that morning that they announced it, and my size was gone. Nothing even approximating my size was in stock. I told Wyatt, you need to do another run of those, because if those sold out that quick, then you're onto something there, my friend. So anyways, so let's compare these two builds. Now, and this is part of the reason why I'm not so impressed, like with the REDWING HUNTSMAN boot. Just looking at the build itself, it's unimpressive. Knowing the history, it's more impressive. If you're a REDWING, dedicated REDWING nut, then yes, this is an absolute staple for your collection. But I know that after collecting boots for so long, I know that I could just reach out to smaller bootmakers like Truman, and they'll run periodic MTOs. I really like to support small brands. This is why I really love Truman, because they do allow for the customization sometimes. And I built basically a version. So this is an Upland model. It is shorter than the REDWING HUNTSMAN, but black shrunken bison is one of my favorite black leathers, black boot leathers. It's just so good. I have more black shrunken bison Trumans in this pair on the 79 last plain toe, and bison is just so striking, especially this bison. I got some really good cuts of black bison in this boot. And so we've got, this is a true mock toe. The apron is separate from the rest of the vamp. So this piece and this piece are not the same, whereas on the REDWING HUNTSMAN it is. We've got brown stitching throughout and just gnarly peaks and valleys character of bison throughout the entire body, especially in the vamp and the quarters. Beautiful. I got a pull tab on here, and I got 4 speed hooks and a standard eye at the top, which really helps out with lacing. You know, this will be kind of a pain in the butt to lace up. And then we've got the Truman Lug Commando outsole there. To me, I like the Trumans better, and frankly, they were like $450, I think, when I got these. Compare that, $500 for these, not to mention if you're gonna buy them secondhand, they're fetching $1,000, sometimes up to $2,000. It's absolutely wild. And then yeah, the backstay on the Trumans, we've got a true separate piece of leather for the back heel stay, and then the back heel strip, very elegant workmanship there, as well as the pull tab. And this is built on the Truman 20 last, which fits my foot so dang well. The heel's just a little smaller. It's got a really nice, not aggressively curved curvature at the waist here, but just enough, and I am just truly at home in this 20 last. The bump toe lets my toes splay out, just so comfortable. I absolutely love it. The REDWING lasts, I don't know a whole lot about them, but they do tend to be very standard lasts. You know, not much has changed, whereas Truman, they're always innovating. And so that's why when I compare these two builds, though they are different, I like the Trumans better, frankly. I like the leather, I like the last. The REDWING has it on this really cool outsole. I really like that outsole, and I really like the height of the REDWINGs as well. I do find that I enjoy a taller boot from time to time. These Trumans are 8 inches, but just everything about the Trumans just, frankly, from a subjective point of view, just excites me more. This is just so badass, so manly looking. That gnarly, some people say that the Shrunken Bison looks like ball sack. I don't think so. I think it's gnarly in the right way. I think it's gnarly in an elegant, in a beautiful way. I just can't quit looking at it, in fact. 270 degree welted, Goodyear welt. Not to mention on the Trumans, much thicker piece of leather for the midsole, as you can see there. And the outsole edge is finished so much better. Whereas the REDWINGs, looks like they use like a higher grit. Well, actually, on this pair, it's not bad. On this pair of REDWINGs, they finished it up much more smoothly. I've seen it on some REDWINGs where it looks like they're taking like a really coarse grit sandpaper, like this. This is 120 grit sandpaper. It looks like they're using a really coarse sanding tool, because you just see the like almost scratches along here, which again, for REDWING, you're not paying so much. So the REDWINGs do have much more of a factory feel compared to Trumans. Trumans have much more of a handmade feel, and their cuts, I think, are better, and their leather, their discernment in choosing leather is better. Yeah, Vincent Truman, he's like a modern day Kurt Cobain when it comes to his brand. Really just genius level work, passion, and it comes out in the Trumans. Whereas, you know, the REDWINGs, they're just more traditional. They've just been doing things their way for a really long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love it, and I love that REDWING's still doing great despite their recent website hack. They've been around for over 110 years now. I think that's awesome. Coming up on 120 years. Keep an eye on REDWING. They might be doing something cool for their 120 year anniversary. Yeah, there's absolutely no arch in this at all. Well, there's just a slight little bit of arch, whereas on the Trumans, yeah, about the same arch. Little bit more arch on the Trumans, but if you really need the arch support, then you got to go Nicks or Whites or something like that. Yeah, I could see on the REDWINGs here, on this cut here, looks like it was cut by hand. It's not the most exact work. You know, I've said this before, REDWING kind of looks sort of slopped together. There's, again, nothing wrong with that, especially the value for the price is very, very good. But on the Trumans, nothing is out of place. Not that I'm looking for that, right? But truly, they go out of their way to make sure that their cuts are just so good. And the way the edges mesh against the other edges, like here on the heel counter, it just looks so good. It's so thick. They have that raw edge. It's beautiful. Nothing feels sloppy in these Trumans. I could tell that care was taken in every step of the way. Every pair of boots that I've had from them has been just impressive. With that, I'll shut it down. I will pick a winner. These Trumans, they win over the REDWING Huntsman, though. That said, there's enough differences to where if you wanted to have both in your rotation, it's perfectly normal to want to have both. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Leave me your thoughts. Which is the winner between these two builds? You know my thoughts already, but I want to hear it from you, so drop a like and a comment, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That really helps me out. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks. I'll see y'all in my next video.